Yo, what's up, everyone? I'm your host, JD, and with me always is my partner in crime, Earthworm the Mighty.
My Nen has both the properties of earth and worm.
I love it. You're getting those good ones going. I like it.
A throwback to my most uncomfortable homie in anime, Hisoka Moro.
Well, this is the Anime Brothers podcast. You know this
Welcome
by
to the
now,
show.
hopefully. Yes, hopefully. Welcome. So we got a lot today for you. It's kind of going to be all over the place. Would you like to explain it, or do you want me to explain it?
No, you go ahead.
Okay, so basically we're doing a bunch of things. We got some announcements we got to make. We're also going to just, shoot the shit. We got some general ranting we like to do about some current animes that we're watching. But
Like
also,
always.
this is technically going to be also a part 2 of Hunter x Hunter, because we don't care if people don't even tell us now. We just want to do it. We want to start moving down some of the arcs, and we're going to be talking about the Yorknew arc as well as the Greed Island arc.
Yeah,
So-
this is Hunter x Hunter's the show consensus, the favorite on the show
Yes.
between the two hosts.
We have to do it.
If between the two of us we had to pick one anime to watch for the rest of our lives, it would be Hunter x Hunter. And it's just fucking amazing. We want to break this bad boy down, but I had to tell JD, I'm like, my dude, we can't do the rest of Hunter x Hunter. I want to take enough time. Yeah, you wanted to bust it all out like some fucking half-ass show. No,
We
I'm just
are
kidding.
a half-ass show.
We are like 3/4 ass at least. But I thought that we should take the time, do Yorknew and Greed Island, and then save the Chimera Ant and, all the future stuff. Because I know, for me personally, I could ramble about all the Dark Continent and Secession arc shit for probably 6-7 hours.
Probably.
Yeah, so to save all the listeners from having a 14-hour podcast to listen to, we figured we could probably bust this one out in an hour and a half or something like that.
Yeah, no doubt, for sure. But let's first roll back and let's say, I don't know if there's any been updates, but what are any more animes you're watching? I know you said you were watching One Punch Man. I'm very upset about it, but anything
Yeah,
updated?
okay. So the last time we spoke, it was One Punch Man. And I hadn't started My Hero, I don't believe.
Yes, you did not, and I'm glad. I think you did now. So.
Yeah, no, you're gonna be proud of me. I busted out My Hero Season 1, and I have finished One Punch Man Season 1.
Oh, there we go.
I haven't delved into Haikyuu to the top yet because I am just not ready to not have more Haikyuu. I know there's more like coming out and whatnot, but it's just nice to be able to know that at any point I can go watch these boys play volleyball and see shit I haven't seen yet.
But it's amazing. You need to get it
is
over
amazing.
with.
I know. We're gonna eventually do a fucking episode on Haikyuu, and I need to be up to date. But it's just, oh man, I'm just avoiding it because I don't want that like feeling of longing when a show ends, and everybody knows what I'm talking about.
You'll also be like, well, since I can't watch it, I might as well try to do something and play football.
Once the world gets better, football is going to be in every week thing, no doubt.
Number one.
But back to anime. So One Punch Man, I want to start there because that's fucking hilarious. One Punch Man is great. The animation is so goddamn nice. Crispy Rice Krispie treats is what I'm talking about there.
Yep.
Every goddamn frame is fucking beautiful. Oh my lord.
That is the first season, though, right?
That is the first season, and I haven't started season 2 yet because I don't want to be disappointed. I've heard that I don't remember what studio took it over, but I know they didn't do it the justice that Madhouse did it in season 1.
Right.
So and the story is good enough, like it's funny and shit, and it takes itself just seriously enough, but you also know that like Saitama's One Punch Man, he's going to come in and probably one punch the thing at the end. But they still, I got to give it up to him. They build the stakes to a point where you're almost like, wow, holy fuck, he might not beat this guy.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, he beats the fucking guy. Spoiler alert, or not, whatever you want to say.
I already know how it, not really, but I already know, like, I don't know, maybe it would get me when I start. I plan on watching that eventually, but I don't think it's going to get me. I always knew that One Punch Man is the strongest, so.
Well, and you don't watch it like you would a normal battle shonen. You watch it almost as if you were watching a bad battle shonen, and you're critiquing it, and, you're heckling it, but the show's doing that for you.
Right.
It's like the show's taking all the liberties of being like, all the stupid shit that you watch in shonen, we are going to exacerbate it and just put it all in the spotlight and then completely fucking flip the switch on it because this one guy comes in and just ruins everybody.
Just ruins everybody.
He just fucking absolutely bitch slaps fucking mosquito waifus and fucking, it's crazy, man. He's Saitama's my boy. Genos is dope. JD, I recommend just watching it the next time you're like, fuck it, I just want to watch something mindless. Because you can, there's not like a whole bunch of like deep ass themes and shit. It's just something to watch for fun.
No, to be
like
honest, I
Saitama.
was gonna eventually bring it up to you. Like I said, you just jumped ahead for me.
I did. No, I know. I'm very sneaky.
Yes, yeah. You are underestimating the sneakiness there.
You must let me change your socks.
Yeah.
So yeah, One Punch Man season 1, excellent. I will give it. I'll give it an 8.5.
You can't put halves. I thought it was Mal.
Well, not on Mal, but like this is our show, and we can do our own goddamn ratings.
Okay.
So, I give it an 8.5 on our show. I think I gave it an 8 or a 9, somewhere around there on Mal. It was amazing. So flip to something that you have also watched, My Hero Academia.
Yes.
So I've only caught the first season, 13 episodes, and I noticed there's like an episode 13 and a half. What is...
I didn't know. I don't even remember watching the half, no.
It just came up on Crunchyroll. It was like episode 13 and a half in my queue, and I'm like,
oh, I'm watching Hulu, so maybe it's only a Crunchyroll thing. I don't know.
Perhaps. It might be like some sort of like little OVA or something. But anyway, it looked great. I gotta say, My Hero looked really, really good. But, I don't know. It felt like it left a lot to be desired.
Is not as much building yet with characters as much as you think, right?
No, and I think that they could have built them better. I don't know if it's just completely a meme, but I guess I do, and I don't get why everybody hates Midoriya, fucking Deku. I mean,
yep.
He's fine, and I guess, I'm sure you could attest to this, but he gets a little bit worse as the seasons go on, but at least in season 1, he's fine. He's that epitome of like the Shiro type hero that you like from fucking Fate Unlimited Blade Works.
Yeah, I've never insulted Deku so far. As I'm watching it, I'm like, I don't see why he gets the hate, but also I know what's to come because everyone had to talk about it, so it's just how it goes.
Yeah, I definitely thought, quick spoiler alert if you haven't delved into the series at all, if you're 1 episode or 2 in, you already know, but I didn't realize that he got All Might's power so quickly.
Me neither.
You know what I mean?
Me neither.
I didn't realize it was a 1 or 2 episode thing, and it was like, here, eat my hair, which was weird.
I love it.
And I'm glad that like they made it in the show like, okay, this is fucking weird.
It is.
But I guess when you think of all the other ways you could get All Might's DNA,
that
is the most legal way.
And also he has to accept it, okay? It has to be willingly. You can't just take his hair and think you're going to get his powers. He has to want to give it to you.
Oh, yeah, no, most definitely.
Yeah.
But still weird. I definitely thought about the challenge of swallowing a piece of hair after that, which is not fun to think about.
It's rugged.
We thought about it. Yeah, it's not great. But, yeah, I just felt like it was a fine show. I put it as a 7 because it was good. There wasn't anything spectacular about it, but it didn't have anything that was like, wow, that was bad. I did notice that they definitely draw out the hype moments that... Me personally, I didn't feel super hyped for. I didn't feel like they quite built them the right way,
right?
Or at least enough. But you could tell at like the end of season 1 when they had the super dramatic music playing and all the crazy fucking Deus Ex Machina people breaking in and fucking saving the day. I can understand why somebody would be like, "Holy shit, that was amazing! I'm so fucking hyped."
Yep.
But it just didn't hit me. I got what they were going for, and they kind of did everything right. But they were missing something. You understand what's saying?
No, I'm saying like when it came from the first season, I know because you've only watched the first season. You could tell also because it's 13 episodes. I felt like they had to get their footing. They wanted to get the premise. They wanted to bring it all together. They wanted to bring like an exam kind of like thing, a school. Bring it all. But they really didn't really get any like footing, like full footing for me until season 2.
Yeah, that's completely
so I feel exactly what you're feeling, and I've watched some anime now, and I don't mind critiquing. I critique anime all the time, like we just did Dragon Ball Z, things got flaws, and I'm not just going to look at My Hero and be like, oh, this is a flawless shonen and all that. No, I still see where it could improve on. So.
And I guess that's my bigger point, is I don't understand why it blew up so quickly.
Well, it did. Well, did this first come out weekly? Because it was probably something new that
2016.
It did probably revitalize the whole shonen like thing going on here. So
Yeah, but at the same time, and I know exactly why, but I'm also watching Black Clover with my significant other right now.
Tell me it again.
Yeah, no, and it's amazing. I'll tell everybody a billion
aight.
fucking times that Black Clover is amazing, but it has one fatal flaw that has kept it from being the like powerhouse shonen of this era. Studio Pierrot.
Studio Pero.
Man, if you gave Black Clover to Studio Bones that does My Hero,
Yep.
it would be an instant fucking classic. Granted, it does take a little bit longer to get into Black Clover. I will say the first 10 to 15 episodes, you can look at it and be like, this is the tropiest shonen show I've ever watched. But as you get into the show and they start kind of peeling back the onion, as I like to say, it becomes a super deep, super amazing show. But if you're an animation junkie, like an animation stickler especially, I can understand why you'd watch Black Clover and just kind of want to puke.
Yeah.
So I know it's been said before. I know Nux said it before, and I'm sure others have echoed that. But like, if Black Clover had the studio that fucking, or any decent studio, but the studio that fucking My Hero had, nobody would care about My Hero compared to Black Clover. Black Clover would be the new thing. Everybody at cons would be dressed up as Asta, not Deku. That's my personal feeling.
I would say that's a maybe, because I think they came in at the right time where superheroes, especially with the Avengers and everything go on, the hype was real for that. And I think also it reaches a more wide audience, superhero, people with quirks, mutants. That's why you like X-Men, stuff like that. And what you're doing is more of like witches and stuff like that, which is definitely really good. A lot of people like that as well, but I think that's why My Hero does well, is because it hits a more like, everyone thinks of superheroes or some kind of thing like that. Anybody. So I think that's why it was able to maintain or get the hype that it gets.
That's understandable. I get what you're saying. They definitely capitalized on the, at least in the West, it came around at the perfect time.
Oh, yeah, that, perfect time.
The Marvel hype. I think 2016, that was right about the time where, like, Infinity War was coming
Last
out,
episode,
or about to.
We talked about it. Like you said, you were telling me, the superhero guy, look, we need to get on this My Hero train. We gotta catch up. People are all about this, and it's like, I've never seen you do that. So that means they obviously definitely did the right thing, and they got something moving, so.
Yeah, and that was because it was popular. Like I said, I went to a small local con in our area, and I kid you not, I saw 30 fucking Dekus. And I was like, all right, well, there's got to be something
before he went bad,
to this.
That's why.
I guess, yeah, but this was last summer.
Well, I think they're at, 4 seasons now, so.
Yeah, so this was when Season 3 was out.
Yeah, but I heard Season 3 is the best season, but I don't know if that's true.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I do like the villains in My Hero. I like the whole idea.
Oh, you're going to like the next villain.
Yeah, I like, I don't really know why I like him, but Face Hand guy with all the hands around him, like, he's just, maybe it's just character design, but he's fucking cool.
Got any more of that cocaine? You got crack?
Yeah, I'll give him that. I just thought there was a lot of, like, and again, it's a superhero thing, so I get it, but there was a lot of last minute busting in save the day for me, which... It doesn't necessarily ruin things, but I didn't feel the emotional connection like I do with, like, the characters in Black Clover. When they do stuff, like, I find myself, like...
How many episodes of that have you watched, though?
Oh, yeah, so yeah. On Black Clover, I'm up to 122.
Well, that's why you're more attached, bud.
Yeah, you're not wrong, though, but, like, and every time I think about it, I'm like, Black Clover could go into tropey shonen at any time, but it doesn't. It keeps subverting enough and doing enough good things.
Right.
But yeah, My Hero, it's a 7 for me right now. It's good. It's fine. It hasn't done anything that's made me go like, holy shit, this is amazing. It's no Hunter x Hunter beginning.
For sure.
Yeah, but before we get into that, JD, what else have you been watching?
Well, I finished all of Haikyuu. I've said that before, I believe, anyway. I just like to feel appreciated about it. Basically, I'm on episode 1 of season 3 of My Hero. I'm trying to pace it because you're catching up, so that's fine. But I decided to go on one of the things I've been wanting to watch, kind Cowboy Bebop. I am at episode 20, so I only have 6 more episodes. By the next time we even get into recording, I will have finished that. So I'm pretty stoked to get to the end of this. I've liked the journey for sure, and it's better than Samurai Champloo, even though that was still good. Maybe it's because I'm watching the dub, but the dub is actually pretty well done for Cowboy Bebop. It's no lie. So
yeah, I've heard the dub is perhaps better than it just flows better with the whole aesthetic.
It is westernized. It looks like they have a lot of things that just everything it seems to say like America, like it feels, and the music is like I just get for the music 10 out of 10. I feel the music like no matter what.
Yeah, I've heard the soundtrack's amazing,
dude. It's got some jazz beats. It's like all over the place, and oh my god, the opening is like it reminds you of 007 Mission Impossible with its own little twist, and I even get this little like Yu Yu Hakusho vibes in there. Oh my god, I don't know, but it's just a great opening, and it's one of the few, like, even Haikyuu, I like it, but I don't listening to after a couple times I stop listening to openings because I just want to get to the next episode. Cowboy Bebop, I've almost listened every time it opens up, and I'm sitting there looking at my dog and I'm like doing moves, stuff like that. That's how intense I get with the opening. I like it. So
hell yeah, brother. I do like how we've both because we both missed out on a lot of classics. We hit that perfect time period of got to see Dragon Ball Z and like Yu Yu Hakusho and like shit on Toonami, but before like Cowboy Bebop and Fooly Cooly and
Trigun is what I'm doing.
Yeah,
after.
Trigun and all those stuff. Before all that stuff was really like on TV, at least over here. It was relegated. Toonami was like a midnight thing, and we were just, we were young kids. We had bedtimes and shit. Yep. So it's nice to see us both catching up on classics, even though we haven't caught up on the same classics. It's like you're doing Bebop right now. I know you're probably going to do Trigun before too long, because you've talked about it a lot, and I'm over here doing the weird, like, philosophical old school ones, like Fooly Cooly and like Ava and stuff.
And then I get people giving me shit about not watching it, because.
Well, and that's the thing, like I don't know if we've put on a front. If we have, then I guess we apologize, but we don't have Mal lists that reach the fucking moon.
We are not professionals.
No, we're relatively new to this whole anime thing as far as like the grand spectrum. We watched Dragon Ball Z and like the Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh and shit when we were kids.
Mostly shonen,
and then it's like yeah, just like mostly kid shonen shit. And now for the past 3 years at most, we've actually been like watching anime consistently.
Yeah.
So we're definitely behind the curve compared to some shows, but we also know that there's a whole group of people out there that kind of went through the same thing we did.
Yeah.
Who just anime dropped off for whatever reason. In high school it wasn't cool, or you just didn't think about it because you didn't realize that anime was for adults. Like with me, it was the story of Berserk that was like, holy shit, this anime can get this dark. That's some real shit. So that made me delve right back in.
Yeah, and it could be overwhelming realizing how many animes there are, and you get told every which way what you should watch, what you should see next, and you only got so much time in your life with everything. So just take your time, and whatever you enjoy, and we work with it. That's how it goes.
Absolutely. But we we've said it before, but we want to expand our anime repertoires together. We welcome people who might even just be casual people. I've seen Death Note, I've seen Dragon Ball Z. What do I watch next? We're here for you.
You watch Hunter x Hunter.
That's a great segue, JD, because I think that's about all we got for this bullshitting.
Basically.
So let's talk about why you should watch Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, last time we left off, and it's been a while, it's been a couple episodes, but if y'all know at this point, and we love Hunter x Hunter, and we left off, I think it was the Heaven's Arena.
Heaven's Arena. So we last, I think it was episode 2. So Christ, say 9 episodes ago.
Was it episode 2 or I thought it was episode 3? I don't know.
No, that was our episode 2, my friend. We wanted to get right into it.
Yeah,
we got through the beginning, and we got all the way to Heaven's Arena. Most of it rambling. I like to think that we've gotten a little bit better at this podcasting thing since. But we said it earlier today, we're going to be tackling the Yorknew and Greed Island arcs specifically today.
Right.
If you have not seen the Yorknew or Greed Island arcs, we want you to pause this podcast, go binge watch however many 60, 80 episodes it is. Get back to us. Listen. Let us know what you think.
Or you can just go to maybe like the last 15 minutes of this, and we'll probably get past all the spoilers. I don't know.
Or we'll have way more spoilers at the end. Who knows? We're wild cards. Bang, bang.
Exactly. All right, but I think you should lead it off, my man.
Okay, so the boys, our young friends, Killua and Gon, they leave Heaven's Arena. I don't remember if we touched on the Little Whale Island part, but we're going to touch on it here. So they decide to take a pit stop at Whale Island, considering that they got a week or two before their meet-up time with Kurapika and Lario. And this is where stuff starts to get interesting. So Gon has always wanted to find his dad, but he's never had a clue besides his dad's a hunter.
That's it.
Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, when you really think about all the people in the world, that ain't shit. But Mito finally gives Gon this box that Jing left behind, because Mito finally kind of got over the fact that Jing's an asshole, and it's like, well, if Gon's gonna try to find him, I might as well try to help the boy out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Greed Island is introduced on Whale Island before the Greed Island arc.
Yep.
And that's what I love about Hunter x Hunter is one arc is completely there just to get to another arc.
Essentially.
The whole universe connects.
And basically, it turns out that Greed Island is a game for hunters.
Yes. The way they figure that out is Jing leaves them... What did he leave them? A ring, a memory card, and like a cassette tape, right?
Yeah, yep.
And the memory card is for a game, So Killua, being the tech master that he is, Googles Greed Island.
The tech master. Yeah. Google magic, my friends.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They find out that this game is worth 7 billion Jenny.
They don't have the
like
money,
that.
I think.
No, and Jenny relates much closer to yen, I believe, than it does the American dollar.
Right.
So $7 billion is a lot of dollars. USDA, 7 billion yen. I believe that is just a stupid amount. Maybe I'm wrong.
No,
maybe it's the opposite.
I think I don't remember. There's only a limited amount of copies too, I believe, of the game.
That's the thing. We're gonna cut out my my terrible fucking currency exchange right there.
No,
it's an expensive ass game, and there's a limited copies.
Okay, yeah, short, sweet. That's basically what it is.
Short, sweet, to the point. So luckily, there's an auction in Yorknew City or Yorkshin City. I love the way they say that. It sounds so cool. Yorkshin City.
That doesn't sound like New York.
It flows so well. I love it.
No, but either way, this is the short version. Is they get to Yorknew City. Basically, it's where they're supposed to meet up with Leario and Kurapika. Man, sometimes that man gets my names all fucked up here.
It's a tough name. It's a tough name to pronounce where you don't feel like you're trying too hard.
And the thing about this whole story is that they meet up together, and for most part, things aren't like it doesn't feel like they're forced to meet up. Like, just to get the story driven, they all meet up together. It's like everything has a nice, put together plot and story of how these guys meet up and everything put together. Like this whole, they need to get Greed Island. And then it turns out that's where the auction is, and they're going to Yorknew anyway because they got to meet up with Kurapika and Leario. So it just all works well together.
Yeah, the only guy who was there just for the sake of meeting up with everybody was Leario.
Exactly, and I think at that point, didn't he update about his medical thing, like he was still studying or something like that?
Oh, yeah, no, this whole time he's just studying to get into medical school. He thought he was all big and bad because he's like, oh, yeah, I know, I learned that. I know all about that. It's when you shroud your body in energy, right? And they're like, well, yeah, that's a part of it, I guess.
That's a part of it. Yeah, we're a little more advanced than that.
A little bit. But you're right. This is the first kind of arc where it's like other people in this universe are going to be shown just as important as our protagonist.
Yes.
And it will kind of fuck you up if it's the first time you've watched anything like this, because I know for me, the first time, it was fairly new getting back into the anime train, and I was expecting, like, any character that, like, that's important is going to be one of the four main characters, right? That's how this goes, right?
Those are the tropes that we always see.
Not at all.
And pretty much shortly after, this is when you start seeing the Spider Troop in the shadows.
We get introduced to the Spider Troop in this arc. We get introduced to all of Kurapika's homies, bodyguard homies, such as Melody and I can't remember his name, but Haikyuu Mustache Pompadour.
Is his name? Because I can't remember his actual name, too.
Nope, I can't remember his name for the life of me.
But he looks like Kuwabara. That's all that
he
you
looks
need to
like
know.
Kuwabara with a handlebar mustache, and he writes haikus as his haikus. See, now I'm getting that all fucked up. Haiku.
That's all right.
He writes the Japanese syllable poem for his Nen power, and it's just useless. I mean, he could use it, but the only thing he ever does with the fucking thing is light stuff on fire.
Yes, like, if you don't tell him the truth, you're going to be lit on fire. Everything is on fire. It's like, do you have anything else you can think of?
And also, he's a terrible poet, and his condition for his Nen power is, like, the better my poem, the stronger the power will be. And every poem is, like, awful. Or, see, and that's a weird one, because, like, who determines what is good and bad? It's probably only him, so if he just had more confidence in his own poetry, I think he would be a much stronger Nen fighter.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But anyway, so more characters, expanding universe, and this is where we find out as well that Nen isn't just different. Nen is differenter.
Nen is different.
Nen is differenter. You really find out, I mean, it was mentioned, it was glanced over, but you find out about Nen conditions and the absolute fucking overpowered shit that those things can provide.
Essentially, the stronger your condition that you give yourself to use Nen powers, the stronger it's going to be.
Yeah, so let's say you have, let's put this in terms you can understand. You are Yakuza, and you are attacked by triads. I hope everyone gets the Office reference at this point. But let's say your Nen power is this Nen power can only be used on the triads and nobody else. But it's super powerful because you put a big old restriction on it like that. You're gonna whoop the shit out of them triads.
Exactly.
And that's really fucking cool. And they expand and contrast on that as the show goes on in really, really cool ways. But let's not get too deep into that. Real quick, who's your favorite new character that they showed in this arc?
Are we talking about the Spider Troops, or are we talking about everyone in general?
Because I'm talking about, because like I know a lot of people like Melody, and Melody's amazing. When you really look at Melody's character, she's just a goddamn sweetheart.
No, she is a sweetheart, but I'm not gonna lie. I like a lot of the Spider Troop. I find them interesting. Next to the Akatsuki in Naruto, they're one of the most like significant band of groups that I find interesting, where they're good and bad. Like, they don't just try to do the utmost worst, but they ain't gonna be morally good. That's for sure.
No, and these are the first people besides Hisoka in this story that you've really looked at is like.
But
they're a bad guy.
My guy is the guy that looks like Hiei, and I always forget his name.
Phaeton,
yeah, that's what it is.
Phaeton's cool.
Phaeton is one of my favorites, as well as Nobunaga. You don't get to see Nobunaga. Just spoilers ahead. Boy pretty much never shows his abilities, but you see his Nen aura, and it's fucking fierce. But other than that, you've never seen what he's capable of. So,
well, I think I might be wrong, but I think Nobunaga is for the most part just like a basic enhancer. So
but you don't know.
He might have some special ability,
yeah.
But he also can just whoop the shit out of you with his enhanced fucking katana.
Like, he was confident enough, like, because I know I'm jumping around, but there is a point where the Spider Troop do capture Gon and Killua. And he's basically just isolated himself in a room. The sword's like not even. I think he places it away from him, but he's not even worried at all. He's just looking right at him. He's projecting the aura like he knows if you try anything, I could kill you. Like, I don't know. He's just badass.
Oh, dude, no, I don't blame you, man. Nobunaga, and he's one of the particularly like morally confusing ones in the Spider Troop.
Yeah.
Because he's, for all intents and purposes, if you look at him from the right angle, he's a really, really good guy. He cares about his people. He cares about the people that he loves. He didn't want to just murder these kids. He'd rather take them in and like teach them his ways.
He especially likes Gon.
Yeah, he loves because Gon reminds him of Uvogin.
Yep.
That's one of the big reasons. And he'd rather see. He'd just rather not see bloodshed.
Right.
If he doesn't have to. Again, he has no problem murdering people, but if it, when it really comes down to it and he's, oh, these kids could probably help us out. He's not thinking kill first, but he's always thinking spider first.
Yeah, and so it's Nobunaga, it's Feitan, and that's like the newer people that I've seen, because I always like Hisoka, Killua, but you said like what you start to see like the newer introduced people, and those were the ones that really highlighted my fave. So
yeah, absolutely.
What
I just
would
thought
you
there were
say?
so many new characters. See, honestly, character design, Crollo Lucifer looks the coolest. So when you see him at first, you're like, holy fuck. But I gotta be
What is
honest
he gonna
with everybody.
do?
Yeah, but I gotta be honest with everybody. And maybe I just didn't look deep enough into it. But first watch, Crollo was fairly lackluster for me. You know what I mean? He didn't really stand out like everybody said he would or did.
But also he didn't talk much, and he didn't really want to like say much. He didn't care,
It's what he doesn't do and the subtle things that he does that makes him a very interesting and in-depth character. I just didn't see it the first time.
No, I can understand that.
Shit, but I don't know who my favorite is. See, I had a problem with all the new characters getting introduced. I was still in my bad habits of shonen tropes of good guys, bad guys, what's going on here?
Right.
So it was tough. It was definitely tough to be like, yeah, I like this guy. I want to get attached to this guy because I was just expecting the monster of the arc and they were going to be gone. And why should I get attached to them unless they make a big impact?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, rewatching it, I can't pick out a single member. But the Phantom Troop themselves, the Phantom Troop as a group, their whole dynamic. I really liked Uvogin the second time I watched because he seemed a lot more human and a lot less evil bad guy the second time I watched the Yorknew arc.
Yes, and Uvogin, out of all of the Spider Troop, he is an enhancer. So essentially he's a Gon, but someone that is a lot more advanced, like 100 times more advanced.
Oh, God, yeah.
And
his only power is just strong punches.
I'm going to kind of fast forward, but I'll give you the basis is what happens is because the Spider Troop eventually meets up or, has the unfortunate of running into Kurapika and stuff like that. And basically, I think it was Uvogin takes on the entire mob. I think it's the entire, mob and their, 10 beasts or something like that. I don't know how many there was.
I don't remember. Okay, so the Phantom Troop started some shit with the mob. And the Phantom Troops, the mob sent out what's called these Shadow Beasts. And their introduction is so badass. There's real dark color palettes. They're all in shadows. And they're talked about like these absolute legendary...
Who are they? Yeah.
Yeah, these legendary beastly-ass motherfuckers. And, to their credit, at the start of the fight, they kind of best Uvogin.
Yes.
Leech Boy put some leeches in him. Fucking little porcupine boy avoids getting punched because there's porcupine spines. And my personal hero, the Worm.
The Worm.
Who I base my persona off of.
Yes.
Yeah, he just kind of did worm shit. Underground digging and whatever. Either way, so yeah, they get the best of Uvogin in the beginning, and then this motherfucker just decides, all right, I've had enough of you fucks, and literally takes and doesn't even find their weakness. Oh, he overpowers their strength.
Yeah, I don't think he even used 50% of it. It's kind of like a Togoro kind of thing. Like, he just was like, all right, I guess I'll give it some effort.
Yeah, like with Leech Boy, I believe that he bit his head off.
Yep.
So he bit this motherfucker's skull, and then spit it at what I believe to be the Worm.
I thought the Worm was like the last one, but I don't remember.
Well, I do remember him. Excuse me. I remember him screaming at the porcupine guy, and he just passed out because his scream was so loud. And I do think it was kind of cute how the whole Phantom Troop was like, Uvogin's about to scream, and they all put their cards down and they know what's going on. They're friends. They're buddies. They know each other. It's like me and you, JD. I know your body.
Yeah, we know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and it's like, he's getting pissed. Cover your ears.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Uvogan to flex on these motherfuckers and then immediately get flexed on by our boy Karapika, dude. Oh my god.
Yes, and see, this is what we're gonna do. I'm sorry, we can't get too in depth. We just do it our way.
We're gonna gush a little bit.
We're gonna gush, but yeah, after all that, and I tell you, you see Uvogan just destroys everything, and it doesn't seem like anything's a challenge for him. And then Karapika, who this whole entire journey so far, he is trying to take out the Spider Troop. Basically, his goal is to kill pretty much every one of the Spider Troop and, get all of the eyes back, the Scarlet Eyes from his brothers.
But I was going to say, Spider Troop ultimately is a secondary goal. He does want to murder all of them, but getting the eyes back is first and foremost the most important thing to him, and that's definitely shown through imagery as the show goes on. You see, spoiler alert real quick, but the Spider Troop is still around and kicking, but you see images of Karapika. He has all, not all of them, but he has a shit ton of the Scarlet Eyes.
All behind him, yeah.
Exactly, symbolizing that his quest for his brother and his eyes are more important than his quest for revenge, which, damn, Karapika, that's some deep shit, man.
Always got some determination.
To have that much hatred, but be able to stick to the original goal in the beginning and still do bodyguard shit? Like, he's a hell of a bodyguard. He takes that job fucking seriously, even though he's only in it for himself.
No, yeah, I mean, it's still, he cares about people's lives, so.
But anywho, let's get back to Karapika flexing on Uvogan. JD, take it away, my brother.
Well, essentially, you find out, we were talked about these conditions, and Karapika ended up having these conditions where, if you take on anyone that is a Spider Troop, he has these chains that when it's wrapped around, the stronger the conviction, the stronger the chains. It has to be someone that is a Spider Troop. There was some other one. If it was someone that wasn't on the Spider Troop, like if you actually tried to chain someone up that was not a Spider Troop member, it would actually kill Karapika. Isn't it how it goes?
Yeah, so he's got, I believe, 5 chains, one for each finger.
Yeah.
And that's his power. They're conjured chains. He uses, I believe he's a natural conjurer. Yes, he's a natural conjurer.
But he becomes a specialist around when he uses his eyes.
Yes, when his eyes go red, he becomes a specialist and gains he gains like 100% usage of all Nen types.
Exactly.
So his 5 fingers each have, I believe they're each designated a separate Nen type.
Yep.
So he's most powerful and he's at his best, obviously, when he has the Scarlet Eyes, because that means he can use every tool. Each chain on each finger has a separate tool designated to a separate Nen type.
And Karapika knew that Uvogan would be like, against a conjurer, I am stronger than that person. But he didn't realize he was a specialist when he had the Scarlet Eyes.
He also had no idea that Karapika's condition was set about I can use this against the Phantom Troop and it is that much stronger. Or I believe he has one chain. I don't remember what it's called, and it's a super awesome name for that one chain. It's like the Chain of Judgment or some shit.
The one that pierces the heart?
Yes, that one can only be used strictly 100% against Phantom Troop members.
Yeah, essentially it wraps around the heart, it constricts it, and then if he decides to pull the trigger and kill you, I think it just stabs the heart and like rips it or so. It's just it's brutal.
Yeah,
we'll say that.
There's some serious, I mean, not like brutal seinen imagery, but there's some imagery of a fucking dagger going into a heart and just like ripping it to shreds and stuff. It's really cool. But I believe Karapika can set conditions kind of after that's placed around the heart, because he didn't want to necessarily kill Uvogan. He just wanted information. Uvogan wasn't willing to rat out his troop, and that's why Uvogan ended up dying.
Yeah, he said, you might as well kill me.
Yeah, and that's when the Nen, once Uvogan, I believe his Nen essentially sensed that Uvogan wasn't going to say anything, and his conviction was strong enough, and so it just took over, and it was like, all right, buddy, peace.
Right.
So that was really cool, and it showed that, like, what Netero said earlier in the show, I believe he said this already, but he says that total Nen and like Nen power doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win the fight or you're even favored to win the fight. Strategy and conditions and being willing to do shit, that comes into play a lot more.
Number one thing is strategy wins the day, no matter what. There's a reason why there's the art of war. There's a lot of things. Strategy is key. So
Yes, strategy and conviction and willingness to do whatever it takes to defeat what you need to defeat.
Yes.
Yeah, Karapika shows that with the Spider Troop, and then back to Netero, he shows that later on in the show to an enormous degree. But we won't spoil that yet.
But yeah, and this is what leads to where we were saying about Nobunaga cares about his friends deeply. He is part of the Spider Troop, but he was great friends with Uvugen after Karapika essentially beat him and killed him.
We should mention that Uvogen got caught twice.
He did get caught twice, because
I mean,
he got away with it,
badass,
and then he's like, "I'm gonna go back and fight him," and yeah, he lost.
But that's what makes many members, Uvogen in this instance, that's what makes them human to an extreme degree, is that, any smart, rational person would have been like, well, we should all gang up on this guy or do something like that. But Uvogen wasn't a smart, rational person. He fed off of instinct and the way things felt and the adrenaline rush. So, of course...
And he also, he said, I want to do this by myself, yeah.
Yeah, because it was a pride thing, too, and it really played well to his character. That's something Togashi does great, is when he sets a character's mindset, he doesn't let that character stray from that mindset. At least not to an unrealistic place.
Right.
Back to what you were saying about Nobunaga, though.
Nobunaga. Well, no, it's not too much. I was just saying that, like we said, these characters have feelings for each other. The one thing is about each other. They take care of each other. Everyone in the group is important to each other, because there is a point where even... Crollo is held hostage, isn't he?
Yes, Karapika ends up getting Crollo,
exactly.
And there's kind of some discourse, whatever. There's a word there that's supposed to go there, but the troop starts fighting amongst themselves.
Yep.
Because they're not sure whether or not they should save Crollo, save the head of the spider, or abandon the head and save the rest of the spider.
And Crollo is saying how it's supposed to go is, don't worry about me. You got to keep it going.
The spider's most important. But that shows that, again, just because this is their underlings in a group, essentially doesn't mean that they don't have their own personal feelings. And you see that come out with people like Machi. Machi cares more about Crollo than she does anybody else, the group. As much as she cares about Hisoka in whatever way that is, she would have no issue... fucking wrecking Hisoka if it came to saving Crollo's life.
Yeah, I think pretty much everyone in the group except for Hisoka loves Crollo, right? Or is there someone else that doesn't like Crollo? I think they all love Crollo. So
they pretty much all at least respect Crollo, because, and this is what I've come to learn after researching and rewatching, but Crollo took this gang of misfits, this gang of nobodies, murderers, people who had no place, people who were abused, all this shit, and he gave them a home. And after that, they found the place that they were accepted, it became less about the deeds that they were doing and more about who they were doing it for, the people that were with them and what they were doing for them.
Right.
So it became like they're evil, they're a bad troop, but at the same time, they're so goddamn human and they have all the emotions that we do. It's not just like a Frieza who's, I'm going to rule the galaxy. it's these are real people who feel real things. And that brings, I kind of want to segue into Gon and how he deals with these people being real people and not just bad guys.
Right.
Like you've said it 1,000 times before, but we're on this adventure with Gon and we kind of experience things as he experiences them.
Exactly. And you kind of see it through his eyes as well. Because
Definitely.
Throughout this whole thing, I think when Karapika has Crollo, isn't Gon and Killua still being captured by the Spider Troop right now?
See, I'm very hazy on how everything exactly went chronologically.
It's been so long, but yeah, I think that's how it was because they did a swap,
Yes, that's exactly what happened. Karapika swapped for Gon and Killua. He gave them Crollo, but he gave them Crollo without any Nen. He ended up Nen
took
exercising.
Away his Nen. I can't believe you could. I didn't see it. That was the first time I think you found out you could do that.
I believe what actually happened was he sealed his Nen. He didn't actually take it away, but he sealed his Nen with his power.
So he couldn't use it anymore.
Yes, and that's why they had to go get the Nen exorcist to exercise Karapika's Nen to allow Crollo's to run free again.
I was going to say, see, that was that little part where I was like, yeah, I don't remember that. And then, but yeah, it all ties together now. I remember now. So
it's all coming back. But like I was saying, as we're kind of realizing that, in this show especially, that good is not necessarily good and bad isn't necessarily bad, and our protagonists aren't exactly heroes per se.
Right.
You're kind of realize, Gon is experiencing the same things. There's the time where he's arm wrestling Nobunaga because he found out that he beat Shizuru or Shizuki, the one with the vacuum. The one who, with the vacuum. By the way, is just, oh my god, she's so goddamn amazing. She's cute.
When it comes to girls with glasses, you know, you're all in.
She's best waifu of Hunter x Hunter. Don't at me.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ. Just stop. Move on.
I'm not what, dude? I'm just saying she's awesome, okay? Glasses, meek and mild.
You probably love that part where her clothes got ripped off later on.
I didn't hate it, and she's a little yandere, which isn't the worst thing in the world.
I didn't hate it.
But anyway, so Gon is just screaming at this guy, Nobunaga, like, how can you murder people and then be upset that your friend is dying or that your friend died? And Gon at the same time has watched other people die and felt no remorse.
Yeah, no remorse because it's not his own friends, and it's the same way as Nobunaga is thinking.
And this is the start of the breakdown of Gon. He definitely showed that he had questionable morality before, but now this is the first time where he's questioned it himself, where he's been questioning things around him as what is good, what is bad. It's not so cut and dry.
Yeah, but to how he thinks and perceives things, especially as a young kid going through this shit at a young age, is, and we'd all, in a way, I'd like to say we wouldn't be the same, but we probably would. Growing up during that whole kind of fucking shit, we'd probably be the same way looking at it, how he looks at it.
Well, if we grew up with so little exposure to the differences between right and wrong and all, like I like to say, the gray area in life, yeah, we would definitely react the same. It's not just childish, but it's also lack of exposure to anything in the world. I mean, this boy he had no friends. He'd lived essentially in the wilderness, like he had a house and shit, but he spent all his time out with animals until he was 12, and then he just goes out into this wide world where nothing is what it seems, and you cannot categorize shit as just good and bad, and it really, really fucked this boy's head up, I tell you what.
Yeah.
I mean, he got over it quick in this moment, but this is definitely the start of something that grows throughout the series in a huge way.
Yeah, no doubt.
Real quick, before we get into anything, I do want to shout out, I've shouted him out before, but he's YouTuber Alexander. He's where I get most of my in-depth Hunter x Hunter information. Look him up. He's absolutely amazing. And my dude, if you hear this, hit us up, bro. Come on the show. We'll talk more in depth about Hunter x Hunter. But his videos they're so intelligent, and they brings up shit that I would have never thought of. So I needed to shout him out. Alexander, ALEXANDZR. It's some weird shit like that, my dude. But like he's got less than 200,000 subscribers. Go help that boy out. Damn, I saw that earlier today, and I needed to say something. He's the man.
Hey, man, it's all good. We understand. We like to shout out people and all that. Much respect. We're all doing the game.
Well, yeah, definitely. And most of, like, this shit that I talk about in Hunter x Hunter, about, like, the breakdown of Gon's morality, that's not stuff you just notice on your first, like, casual, watch-through.
Oh, yeah, not on the first go-through, no.
No, the quote-unquote transformation, as we want to call it, we'll leave it at that, but, like, that was a long time coming. It didn't just happen,
Yeah.
You know, my dude. Fucking A. But Yorknew, anything else you wanted to touch on?
Well, I'm just gonna say how it gets to Greed Island, because, like I said, basically, Karapka had Krollo. The Spider Troop had basically Killua gone. They worked out a trade, but Krollo got his Nen sealed away. And you find out this whole time Hisoka was literally in this troop. He's not even a real Spider Troop member. He was doing this to get to Krollo. He wants to fight the best. That's his goal. It's all to benefit himself. He's like Earthworm has said, he's not necessarily a villain just to kill people. He has his own goals, and he just does what he wants to do.
And if you're in his way, then that's your fucking problem, bud.
Yeah, then you're gonna probably die. But Hisoka finally wants to fight Krollo when he's free. And you find out that Krollo had his powers taken away. And I just remember that moment because his face to this day was like, he was so disappointed. He was so disappointed.
She's like, I'm here to fight you. Oh, I don't have any Nen. Oh. Oh.
But that's how Yorknew ends. I mean, like, there's a lot of high points. We didn't do it justice, but it led to, like, they had to do exchange of people. And Gon and Killua still have a mission. Like, they just got tangled up in it, but they're still trying to get to Greed Island.
And that's the beauty of the Yorknew arc, is that there are plenty of times where in the Yorknew arc there's no like complete feeling climax. I'll bring it back to when Killua's grandfather and dad were fighting Crollo.
Yeah, because they also get hired to take them out, you know?
Yeah, so they get hired by the mob to take out Crollo. And then Crollo fucking hires Illumi to take out the mob. So they're in the middle of this badass battle, and like they're all about to die. Fucking Killua's grandpa, fucking his dad, and Crollo. Like someone's about to give in. This battle's nearing its climax.
Yep.
And then they just get a phone call that's like,
all the mob
Illumi's
members
on the
are
other
dead.
end. Like, yeah, it's done. You see all the dead mafia around him. He's like, yeah, it's done. So then fucking the other Zoldycks are like, all right, well, we don't have to fight you anymore. Peace. And it's just so like opposite of what you would expect.
They're
it's
just
like, no,
about the money. They don't really care about Crollo.
exactly. And you're like, all you're expecting is some crazy climax of there's gotta be a winner. This is a fucking UFC fight. That's why I watch anime, damn it. I need a winner. And then you're just given this like, hey, by the way, like the circumstances played out, and I'll see you later.
Yeah, we got paid. We lost our bosses, so we don't care anymore. Have a good day.
Yeah, I thought that was badass. And especially like you said, when it went to at the end of it, it's like, all right, we're expecting this fucking, you get this Hisoka Crollo fight, and it's like, yeah, Hisoka's finally confronting him, and then it's like, oh, let down. But it's not a bad thing. It's just like, well, I couldn't force the fight, so this is what it is. And well, spoiler alert again, we get the fight later on, so it's all worth it.
Well, that's for another time.
That is for a much another time. But let's move on to our boys back in the spotlight.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, almost a 10. Can't give it a 10 again because I find the villain lackluster, but this is a 9.5 for me. My favorite arc, pretty much.
Which, are you talking the Yorknew arc?
No, I'm talking about Greed Island.
Yes, that's fair. I will give the York. Do we want to give grades on the Yorknew? I didn't think we did that yet.
Yeah, we can. I'm gonna give that a 9.
I'm going to go on the opposite. I'm going to give that one a 9.5 because I can appreciate all the crazy convoluted like layers of shit that Togashi had to build in that story. And it all just played out beautifully with no climax, but we're on to the next one, boys.
Yep, so the Greed Island arc, now, leading into it, I remember that you find out it is a video game. They finally, how did they get their hands on it? Didn't they get hired by a group that was basically getting people to go into the game at the same time?
Yeah, so quick elevator pitch here. After all this crazy shit with the mob and the spider troop, there is the actual legitimate Yorknew City yearly auction.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in the auction that we were talking about before was all this underground crazy bullshit that was all seedy and none of it was legit. This is the real auction, and there are, a handful of Greed Island copies?
Very few. I think there was only like 3 more left that were out. Everyone else either owns it or they've been used.
I think I feel like there was a few more, but either way, what happened was the boys finally got the money. They go up, they try to bid. They don't get a single goddamn copy because this one motherfucker is overpaying for all of them.
Bought them all.
Turns out it's this billionaire whose wife is super sick, and he apparently there's like a medicine in the game that you can only get by beating the game. When you beat the game, you can take items with you from the game.
Yeah, it's like your reward.
Yeah, so I don't remember exactly how it happens, but anyway, Gon and Killua meet up with this guy's like bodyguard. They prove themselves as worthy by flexing like they do.
Yeah.
And then it's on to Greed Island, which is a game that you start with your fucking Nen. It's not just like an actual video game. It's not a whole 30-episode arc of people sitting in like a Smash tournament type style.
No, you need Nen to get in this goddamn game.
And it's, not the first one, but it's one of the first shonen isekais.
That's right, dude. It's an isekai in another
that's
fucking shonen.
that's why you love it so much.
It's fucking awesome. I don't give a damn.
Little bit of isekai.
Everybody loves it.
You like my John Ralphio there?
No, I love it. You should do more John Ralphio.
So this is your baby. Take it away. Talk to me. Get gushy about Greed Island.
Well, basically the premise of the game, when they get into it and all that stuff, they're like teleported into like this tower, like thing. It's like they come out of this little tower, they go down the stairs, they go out, and there's like a big open field. And basically you can just look on. I think it was like for miles. I don't think there were woods. It was just field. It was a long field. And it just looks like any other kind of place you've been at. And then all of a sudden, this like gang of like 3 guys just like all of a sudden teleport right in front of them. And essentially they're like, they know that they're like newbies into this game. They're like, yo, give us your cards. And at first, no one knows what it means, but apparently this is also like a card game in this isekai.
Yugi boy.
Yugi boy. And I'm not going to lie, it brought me back to like the Yu-Gi-Oh kind of days where you think, oh, I'm going to fight with my abilities, which you can, but you also have cards. You have like spell cards, in a way, trap cards, all these like these cards that say teleport, where it can teleport you to a city. One that it can like, I think one stuns you or something like that. There's so many different cards, and they have rarity levels, and it just, dude, the amount of like thought that went into like a 30 episode arc of like it's its own little game in there. I want to play this game. I'm just saying.
That's something amazing about Greed Island. It's the most separate. It feels like the most separate. Like you can almost take it and set it aside from Hunter x Hunter arc. It feels like its own thing almost. All the other arcs, like we've talked about, meld and like intertwine with each other, and then there's just kind of Greed Island, which has its connections, but it feels so unique in that world.
Yeah, and when the gang that go in front of Killua and Gong and kind of like say, give us your shit, basically, I think it was Killua that's like, we're going to defend ourselves, think of this as a normal fight. And I think one of the guys, I'm having a blank, but I think he draws like the card that does a blast or lightning or something like that. And it like hits them, and they're not used to actually, dealing with whatever this happens. Like these cards actually make things come out of nowhere and all that. And they actually, I think, lose their one card they have, or something happens, or they find out they don't have cards. I don't know if I'm wrong on this one. You could be.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've watched the details and stuff, but they get flexed on. The boys get flexed on in this new world. Luckily, they're not terribly alone, though, because we run into another best girl of the show, our girl Biscuit. Bisky's awesome. She's this lolly-looking, blonde-haired, pigtail girl, but you find out she's actually the Nen master. Yeah, she's like fucking 90-something, or she's wicked old, but she looks like adorable, and she's the Nen master of Wing, the boys' original Nen master.
Basically, yeah, what we talked about at Heaven's Arena, where they first learned like the basics, and this is where when we talked about it, there's a lot to Nen. Well, she decided to show what there's even more of.
Yeah, there were like the 4 basics to Nen, and then pretty much anything you thought of in like Dragon Ball Z, where it's like, oh, I just used my aura to code a specific part of my body. Well, you don't have to say that, because we got a word for it in Hunter x Hunter. I don't remember. I think it's like Kyo or Ryu, but there's a bunch of them. And there's Gyo. Gyo is the I one.
Ah, yeah, okay, that's
and
the
they
I
use Gyo to fucking like see Nen, because it's not something you can just see. They're almost like stands in JoJo. If you haven't, if you're not familiar with Hunter x Hunter, but JoJo, it's like only another Nen user can see this shit, but you can hide it. There's for any type of manipulation of this Nen on your body, they came up with a word for it. And I gotta thank Tagashi for that, because like, damn, dude, that's so cool.
I don't think my brain cramped though, because even I can't even explain it all, and that's what sucks.
Well, no, but I mean, like, we're not like teachers. We're not the Weebology boys. We don't have to like explain this to people.
We're not teachers. No, we're on an adventure.
Yeah, we're just adventuring here, and just watching this from afar, it was like, holy fuck, you took so much time and effort into this, but it's not. I mean, when you really look at it, it's not like D&D 4th edition where there's just too many words. It's almost perfect. Right. Tagashi, thank you. You're awesome.
Yeah, shout out to you. I've already made like a Twitter about it too, but man, we appreciate you, because it was his birthday not too long ago. So
happy birthmas.
Yeah, and please make more Hunter x Hunter. Please.
Yeah, that'd be nice. But anyway, Bisky takes these little boys under her wing and starts teaching them the advanced techniques of Nen, and tells them like, y'all gotta come up with the power. But before she does that, she tells Killua to literally just go drop his dick on the floor at the next Hunter exam and flex on everybody there.
Yeah, because this is all worthless if you don't get your Hunter exam.
Well, it definitely helped for Killua to have it, and it's been about a year since the last Hunter exam. As we all remember, Killua failed because of murder.
Yeah, that's not allowed.
No legal persecution, but failed the Hunter exam. Perhaps worse. So this boy travels. He uses the special card like JD was talking about. And there's one that lets you travel in and out of the game.
Yep.
So he travels to the hunter exam, and there's a shit ton of contestants. So the first exam is like, all right, you're going to have a tournament real quick or a battle royale, and the last 100 of you standing can take the test. Killua fucks up everybody there, like 500
Beats everyone.
And he's just standing there at the end. He's got all their tags in the bag, and he's just like waiting. And Netero's like, oh, well, he passes. Yeah, no, just give it to him. I saw him last year. He's fine.
He's gonna make it, yeah.
Like, I hope that you're gonna talk about a flex in anime, one of the biggest flexes. That is one of them. My boy Nux, put that in the video if you haven't already, man, because Killua just, holy fuck, that boy's full of them. Geography. Oh, I love that guy. He's funny. But anyway, so Killua was back, Hunter licensed up, and I believe this is when he debuted, or we started to debut the new fucking powers.
You mean the lightning?
The lightning, the yo-yos.
The yo-yos are also key. Yeah, those are badass.
I loved watching Killua, like, experiment with the lightning. I don't remember if it was exactly in this arc, but when he takes the fucking taser and he just shoves it on himself when he's covered in men. And he's just like, yeah, it fucking hurts so good.
Because they had to figure out what they wanted to use as their abilities. And he saw the taser and he's like, I'm used to this kind of torture. And he's like, I like lightning. And he just started zapping himself, and he uses that as essentially his aura. It's incredible.
He definitely flips the script on the torture that was implemented on him. He is now using it in his favor. It's very philosophical. And then there's our boy Gon over here, who's like,
tell me about his favorite move.
Well, Bisky told him, she's like, well, you got to come up with a move, and you have to be kind of creative here. I mean, it's all up to you. You can be whatever you want. And Gon is, poor bastard, he's just like, I like Jajankin. And Bisky's like, Jajankin? That's an amazing name. And he's like, oh, okay. That's fine, I guess. So the boy sounds like he got a stutter attack.
Yeah.
But it's going to the simplicity of Gon. I mean, Killua is over here, and he's the art major, super creative. Like, I'm going to use these yo-yos and coat them with lightning, and that'll give me super distance. And also fucking, kind of a field around me. And Gon's like, yeah, I guess I'll do a punch and a blast and a slash.
Yeah, I'll put them all together, and we'll call it like rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
Because it's my favorite game.
And it's kind of goes to show that, like, all the protagonists in this one, again, aren't going to be, like, have the most overpowered power. Because you find out as the show goes on that, like, Jajankin standing there and, getting all your aura built up in your fist and then releasing it, not exactly the most strategic move. But our boy's
most people aren't going to wait for you to do that, yeah.
No, but our boy's a simple man, much like you, JD the Simple. And he just rolls with his attack, and he makes the best out of it.
Yeah, and I don't remember which came first, the dodgeball or the fight with the bomber.
Oh, the dodgeball definitely came first.
Okay, I want to touch up on that.
I believe Gendru was the ending, or very close to the climax because they were hoarding all the cards. They were killing other players and taking their cards. So all the cards that they needed to win were collected by the bombers. But real quick before we get into the actual dodgeball scene, there's this cool thing where it's like they see Crollo's name in the game registry, because this is like literally, think of Sword Art Online video game style.
Yeah, you can check other players around the world.
You bring up the book, you have your player list, you have your card list. It's pretty much like any of these idle card games on mobile. Very similar to all that crazy shit. But so they bring up the name list, and they see Crollo Lucifer's name on the list. So they're like, oh fuck,
Crollo's here.
Yeah, and I don't believe that they knew. I don't believe that they were informed that he lost his nen. And even if they did, it was like, well, he must be here to get it back. They travel to Crollo's location, and guess who they see? JD,
A naked Hisoka.
A naked Hisoka, and this is where you find out that Bisky is not just like a super badass sensei, but also a major pervert. Like, oh my god, she just couldn't stop drooling, and I thought it was adorable.
Well, she's of age, and she definitely liked some Hisoka man meat.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
But you don't see a whole bunch of, like, female, quote-unquote, like, perverts or whatever, but, like, Kakashi, how he reads his, like, Make Out Paradise, You see
Yes,
Bisky.
it's the best book
yeah,
ever.
but you see Bisky, but not just the time where she's staring at Hisoka, but there are times later in the show where she's got the makeout, not the makeout paradise, but she's got like, hentai mangas that she's reading, and she's all like fucking drooly with the eyes rolled back in her head type shit. I think it's adorable. It's cool to see like a female pervert. It's like, hey, I knew they were out there. Fucking knew it.
Yeah, 100%. But they discover Hisoka, which is definitely different to see. And this is where Hisoka, it's like, he kind of plays along with like, you know what? At the moment, I could work with these guys because they'll help me get what I need to get.
And Hisoka being the true I only care about myself thing, he's on Greed Island to find a Nen exorcist so he can fight Crollo. Like, that's the only reason he's there. He's like, well, that didn't work out last time, but we're going to make it work. Crollo, you wait here. I'll be back, homie.
Yeah, and so it leads to this dodgeball. I mean, you can give more if you want before that. I'm just excited to talk about it. So
No, I just thought it was, I liked the scene a lot, and I wanted to touch on it, where they find out Hisoka is in Greed Island.
Yes, that was a highlight, and I'm not going to lie, I already liked Hisoka, but after Greed Island, this is what made me like him more because of his, like, adaptability. And you just see, like, Gon will show him, like, hi, I got one of these cards. Do you have one of these cards? And he's just looking at the card. He's like, no, I don't. He's just being, like, I don't know, nonchalant. He's hanging out with Gon and all of them and all that stuff, even though deep down he still wants to fight him. He still wants him to get better, but he's there to just get what he needs to get,
He's always calculating, because you're right. He's there to get what he needs to get, but he also sees this as an opportunity to work with Gon and experience how Gon is, and also help him grow so eventually Hisoka can have the fight of his life.
That's all he wants.
It's all very, like, planned for the future. Hisoka's playing the long game here. And that man, damn, he's a good-looking dude, especially when his hair's down. Damn, bro, them abs. I don't blame you, Bisky. I don't at all. It's like psychopath murderer. Who cares, brother? Come on.
All right.
I'm not strong enough for him. I know it.
But there's essentially what comes down to it. There's a match. I don't know why they did this dodgeball match. I think it was because of the reward. It was a special card that you get. It was a
special card, and one of Jing's friends, you find out, is this guy named Razor, who's just a super jock. I mean, if we ever thought that we were like Jockly Chads or Chadley Jocks, this guy blows you all out of the water. He's got the 1970s short shorts on, the real fucking tight ones, and
he looks like he's a coach for a dodgeball team or basketball team or whatever.
Yeah, he's got the plain white PE shirt. He's got the slicked back hair. He kind of looks like All Might in the face. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, he's big too, big shouldered and everything.
He's a Chadley brother, and he's like, well, you want this card? You got to beat me in a dodgeball match against me and my two fucking Nen Beast like gorillas or whatever he's got hanging out with him.
Yeah, that's literally his power, and then it's against Killua, Gon, and Hisoka.
Yeah, I can't remember if they tried to beat him without all teaming together or whatnot, but yes, they eventually realized that the three of them have to use their powers all together, and by all together I mean they literally have to like train stack on top of each other. It's kind of weird. Because
when Razor throws the ball, that ball is coming. Let me tell you right now.
Boy's got a fastball, let me tell you. Oh my god. You've never been hit with a dodgeball. Until you've seen this guy fucking crank you with one.
And since now we've watched Haikyuu, I mean, it's just like it got you a little bit of a sports type anime. It has isekai in here, and it's already got the shonen, like, it had everything in this, like, one episode. It was kind of incredible.
That dodgeball, quote-unquote, fight or match or whatever you want to call it.
It got intense.
It was one of the highlights of the show. We talk about the Heaven's Arena fight between Gon and Hisoka, but this...
With hand-to-hand, that was my favorite, yeah.
But this was, like, as far as, like, intensity and, like, strategy and stuff, this was a close second. Well, it was up there for close second. There's a few more that come. But
you got some more.
But, I mean, and this is a goddamn dodgeball match in a battle shonen, and we're all like, yes, thank you. It's not an episode. It's not an extra baseball episode filler. This is real shit in the show.
It's all part of the arc, so
it's all part of the story, and it's done just amazing. Damn, holy fuck! And Killua, being the boy willing to risk his shit always,
fucking up his hand, for Gon,
walking away, being the most injured one out of this, and he's just like, "No, it's cool, man. I love you. You're my friend. Don't ever leave me."
Yeah, because essentially, I'll give you a little more information, is that Killua is the only one that was able to hold the serves long enough for Gon to do his Jijenkin to punch the ball super hard to, shoot it back at the opposing team. But because of that, there was like side effects for Killua where he was literally taking all the like backlash from like the hit, and he's used to pain, so he was taking it all just so they could win, and knowing that he was the only one that could help Gon out. And that right there is a brother right there.
Definitely.
And that's why they are the best duo.
And
so.
In case you were wondering, Hisoka was there to add his bungee gum
bungee gum
to kind of soften the impact of the dodgeball, as well as keep it from immediate.
I think it broke Hisoka's fingers too while he was doing it with the bungee gum.
Probably.
Isn't that what happened?
Yeah, I think so.
Something like
Because
that.
he had it so compacted that it just ended up. None of them walked away unscathed, but Killua definitely took the brunt of that.
Yes.
He's just one more example of him being an absolute homie.
Exactly. But no, in the end, spoilers, but they win. They get the card. They get the special card that I think no one else has. And that leads into them. I'm pretty sure they wanted to trade with this bomber, right?
I can't remember exactly what happens. I do remember, I'm pretty sure that Hisoka at this point was like, all right, we won the volleyball match. I'm going to go dipset and try to find that Nen Exorcist again.
Yeah, now he was finally done. He was like, I'm gonna head off. He's done all he could have done.
Yep, he had his fun. He was bored with whatever's going on. He's going about to do his own thing. Very Hisoka of him.
Basically, and while this was going on, and I think it happens a little bit in pieces, so it's not like it was all at the end, but there was this guy that is technically like a mass murderer just trying to steal all the cards in the game to win, and essentially he has it to where his ability is, I'm pretty sure he just sets bombs that you cannot see unless you have Gyo on, right?
Yeah,
to see his Nen
he
bombs.
Essentially, if anybody remembers Yu Yu Hakusho in the tournament, the Dark Tournament arc, the guy that fought Kurama in the final fights with the bomb
the bats.
Yeah, with the bomb powers or whatever. It's essentially recycled him with a less cool character design. You took that cool long-haired guy and made him like Aryan race fucking neo-Nazi looking.
And that's where, for me, this bad guy called the Boomer.
The Boomer.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, the Boomer. He was one of the few like characters where he was just pure mad and just pretty much wanted to kill people. I don't find him that fascinating.
No, he's definitely
mind
the least
you, the
interesting.
fight between him and Gon was pretty goddamn awesome and pretty clever. But I found him pretty lackluster, and since that was like the conclusion of this arc, that's why it got a 9.5. Everything else was well done.
So if you had like a Phantom Troop style villain in the Greed Island arc, it would have been like 10 out of 10, absolute moi.
Or just like, you couldn't come up with someone else, but like how Razor was one of Jing's friend, but he was technically an obstacle to beat. Like, make one other friend of his be another obstacle. This is all a challenge for Gon to get what he wants to get. Don't make this Unabomber come in here and be like, oh, well, he's got to finally do the trope we talked about, beat that bad guy that kills people. I don't know. I feel like you were in this game, just keep it like it was a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know.
But you also, and going back to last week's discussion on Dragon Ball Z, this was before the isekai thing blew up, as we all know.
I know.
This wasn't, the time where there's 18 new isekais a season. So
this was before Sword Art Online.
Yeah, so the guy going absolutely insane and murdering everybody in the fantasy world that everybody's stuck in, relatively new idea at the time. You know what I mean? So that was probably really cool. And sometimes things get spoiled after you've seen it in a bunch of newer animes, and then you go back and it's like, well, why are they doing this? And then, the guy 15 years in the past is like, oh, come on. I was the first one.
I was the first.
I did it first.
Yeah, that's only my only complaint. But yeah, they fight this bomber guy, and Killua fights one of his henchmen, and that's when you get to see the yo-yos and him using the lightning. Yeah,
and you get to really see the powers for the first time. It really feels like, all right, we're getting to battle shonen time. Everybody's got their unique powers, and they're using them right.
You get to see Bisky with her nice transformation.
Yes, her fucking buff assness. Damn, girl.
Beating the shit out of a guy, like, because he thought, oh, you're a little girl, I'm going to beat you so badly. And she's like, oh, you don't even understand.
Nope, you don't fuck with Bisky. All without Killua and Gon seeing.
Yeah, I think that was her plan, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
she hates. That's her natural body, her giant, like 7 foot tall, super muscular lady body. That's her natural body. She just hates it. She hates the way she looks, that way. So, and this is a kind of another cool thing about Nen, which makes it different. Is Nen is like your soul, your soul's representation, kind of. So because Bisky wants so badly to be a small, petite-looking woman, that her Nen slowly, over time, transformed her from this big bodybuilding behemoth into this small, lolly-looking girl.
Yep.
And she can, she can turn it off when she needs to. But I think that's kind of cool how there's like a bunch of there's a shit ton of rules to Nen, but even that they have some exceptions, and the exceptions make enough sense to where it's like you've already said that like Nen is the representation of like your soul type shit, as well as the power that every being has, and then that can do cool stuff for you. And I'm just happy that made Bisky happy.
Nen is different, okay?
Nen is different,
Different, Add more R's. But, yeah, and the conclusion is Gon and the Bomber get into a pretty, I don't know, it was like all-around fight. Like when he caves in the ground around the Bomber and all that stuff, I think he punches the ground or he set up the trap ahead of time. But that conclusion to that fight was pretty damn good. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, they set the trap for the Bomber because even though this guy, and this goes back to what Netero said and what we said earlier, just because you're not the strongest Nen, you don't have the most Nen doesn't mean you can't win. And Genthru, right. I think that was his actual name, but the Bomber didn't have the strongest, the most overwhelming plethora of Nen, but with his power of being able to hide bombs, and then being able to kill on impact, that made him extremely dangerous. So they had to lure him into almost a life or death situation, because that's exactly what they did. Is they trapped him. They had like a pitfall trap type deal, and then Gon came and fucking absolutely smashed him with Jajenkin.
But he did not kill him.
No, he did not kill him, and
he was let to live.
Yep, and that's another thing about Gon too. Is I don't think he's actually murdered anybody yet. Am I correct in saying that? Is he hasn't, up until this point in the show, I don't think he's killed.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think he's...
The only one that Killua has, but...
Well, yeah, Killua killed before we knew him. Killua was a straight murderer, but...
it's been a while since I turned my switch on.
Yeah, no, I feel you, dog, but...
I want to quote that all the time.
I do think it's interesting how they don't bring that up about Gon, how he's never murdered before. Even when he finally, obviously he's going to end up doing it to an enemy at one point, spoiler alert, whatever. But even when he does do it, it's not like in the parallel to Yu Yu Hakusho, where when Yusuke was about to kill a person, it was a huge fucking deal.
Right.
And that just goes to show how different the protagonists are. And obviously they're different shows and whatever, but they both deal with the same stuff. Very similar things, but they deal with it in different ways.
Oh, 100%.
Hell yeah. And that's why these are two of my favorite shows, because they're so similar and they have so many of the good parts to them, but they differ in just enough ways that it's like, fuck, these are two amazing standout shows on their own.
Yeah. Oh, God. Just thinking about it more, I got to rewatch it. Just watching Greed Island arc again would be spectacular.
Oh, for sure. I do have to say that the Greed Island arc is, I'll be honest, it's the least remembered arc for me.
I was gonna say, do you remember, like, because after they beat him, they got their reward and they just left, right? Like, basically said goodbye to, like, Razor and everybody and left the game.
Yeah, they beat the game. They got, I think it was, you had to, like, kind of a Pokemon thing. It was a collect them all. You had to get one of each card. Them all. So they beat the game after they beat Genthru. They distributed all the cards out to people who helped and all that shit. And yeah, so when the game was over, you got to keep 3 items from the game, and you got to bring them into the real world. I'm
trying to remember what the 3 were. I forgot.
One of them was the jewel. So Bisky was there in the first place. She was there to find... She's a gem hunter. She's a rare gem hunter. She was there to find a...
Oh, I remember now.
I think it was the blue opal or something like that, but a beautiful blue gem she was there to retrieve. So Gon, being the technical winner of Greed Island, one of his choices was the card for the gem, and he gave it to Bisky, being a nice goddamn boy that he is.
And then one was the teleport, so he could go teleport to his father.
Yes, which, again, you find out that Jing is a super dink.
Yeah, well, we can't... that leads into another arc. You can't say anything.
I was just going to say, like, I do want to say that Jing, and you find this out in a little, like, backstory scene where it's like, he sets it up to where this teleporter has Jing's information in it. Nig, Nigg, is the acronym or pseudonym for Jing that they kind of figured out. They see him as well in the player list. So when they use this fucking card, they teleport to Nigg, Nig, or Jing was what they assume it is. And you find out that Jing sets it up to be like, if he comes alone, have it send him to me. But if he can't come alone and he has a friend, which is a shitty thing to do, Jing, you send him to this other place. And I won't get into the other place yet, because that's, like you said, the next arc. But just
dun dun dun.
And it's like, and then the lady, kind of the arbiter of the game, who is also Jing's friend, makes mention. She's like, wow, you're really not like a bad dude. You're just so embarrassed, and you're so like nervous about this that you keep pushing him away, don't you?
Essentially, he didn't want to try to address why he hasn't been a father in front of one of his friends. So he's like, if he comes with a friend, I'm sending him somewhere else. That's how much he didn't want to address his own son.
Yeah, exactly. He's just kept looking for excuses to not meet Gon. Not a good dad.
Bad dad.
Probably the worst shonen dad besides the guy from Full Metal Alchemist. He was just terrible.
Yes, but it all came together.
Yeah, but like I was saying, the Greed Island arc, it was a super fun arc, and it really expanded on our two quote-unquote main characters, Gon and Killua. It really expanded on them and their powers and their like potential. But overall, I just, like you said, the villain wasn't astounding. I'm not a super big isekai guy, so not that it turned me off, but it didn't really excite me, the fact that it was a card game style. I liked what they did, but it wasn't like a plus for me. So I'm going to give this arc, at the end of the day, an 8 for me.
Oh, you're not even giving you're not getting a 0.5, you're giving it an 8?
And that has a lot to do with the fact that I just not a lot of it stuck out to me. JD, I was telling you about this, I think just yesterday, obviously off podcast, but I try to rank things as far as like how well I thought they were written, how well a story was constructed, animation, all the objective things, so to speak. But when it really comes down to it, my overall, the last point or two of my rating comes from how it made me feel. That's why shit like Gurren Lagann is so up there for me, because it was such an emotional ride for me that even if it wasn't the most well-constructed thing, I do remember the feeling of being absolutely amazing, and that's what's lacking.
This was more of a fun episode, and that's what I'm here for.
Sure, no, I wanted to kind of get that out of the way, Greed Island was definitely lacking that, like, amazing feeling that I got at the end of some of the arcs, where it was just kind of blown away. It was a really good, really fun arc, but it wasn't the spectacular Hunter x Hunter that I love, at least.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a 9.5 for me. I haven't given anything a 10. 9.5 for sure, and like I said, the only 0.5 is because the villain was lackluster. I felt like you were in the game, just keep it a game. But either way, it brought some fresh newness to it, that where you thought it was just a battle shonen, which from the get-go it's not, but you know what I mean. It just branched off even more. So that's going to be a 9.5 for me, man. This is almost one of my favorite arcs. So
all right, so now the anime brothers are divided. JD's a Greed Island guy, and yours truly, Earthworm, is a Yorknew guy. I love that dark.
That's right. Wait, so that's your favorite one?
No, well, no, I think it's tough. It's between Yorknew and Chimera Ant. Chimera Ant was very, very long, and there was a lot of information.
Yeah.
So I'd say it was harder to watch than the Yorknew arc. But the payoff was amazing, and everything in between. I mean, even though it was kind of hard to watch and read, it was still just absolutely fucking phenomenal. And everybody's come to learn that I love exciting, fun adventures, but I also prefer, like, here's how dark the world can get. Take a look. It's like, oh, okay. And that that feeling got through more in Yorknew and the Chimera Ant. So that's why those are ups for me.
Well, there we go. That's the end of part 2. We're gonna get into part 3. We're not gonna tell when. We never know.
We are not gonna rush that one. Maybe we'll get a guest on for part 3. But
we could.
Yeah, maybe it'll just be us rambling about Chimera Ants and chairman elections and shit. Who knows?
But before we let you go, we do have, this is the announcement part, pretty much. is that we're deciding to go forward. I think we talked about a couple episodes beforehand where we're going to start having recommendations for each other's, where we want to start
recommendations.
Yeah, forced recommendations in a way.
The way I see it is, how many times has your buddy been like, hey man, you should watch this anime? And you'll be like, yeah, I'll put it on the list. And it sits on that list for years. And how many times have someone told you, hey buddy, vice versa, all that shit.
YungxHarm does it all the time.
And JD, you've done it to me in retaliation.
Yes,
so,
you deserve it. Skyrim will still never be played.
And that's the thing. We've known each other for too long. We're almost an old married couple at this point. So though we have great chemistry and we get along great, suggesting new things for each other to experience is like, oh yeah, buddy, okay, I know better than you. Type shit.
I heard you watch that other anime with that other guy. Well, at least he watches some things I want to watch.
Yeah, I heard you watch that anime. Why don't you watch good shit like I tell you to? But anyway, forced recommendations. I give JD a show to watch, and he has to watch it. He has no say in this. I don't care how bad or good or fucking god-awful. He has to watch it, and vice versa. JD gives me a show or a section of a show to watch, and I am forced to watch it.
Yes, and so from pretty much going forward, he brought it up, and I want to put him into the sword art Alicization because it is definitely different, and I want to give it, but the idea is he's just way too spread out right now. He's got too many things. He's dabbling, putting his hand in the water and checking things out, and I don't want to spread him out too much more. I want him to kind of focus, so I'm like, you know what, we're going to use, even though Naruto has more episodes than what he's going to recommend, I'm going to force him to get some episodes done. So that's my force recommendation, is to try to power through and get through at least Naruto. So.
Yes, sir. And myself, I am on episode 63 on Naruto. So, by the next time you hear me talk, or when the forced recommendations come out, I'm going to be around episode 90. And in return, JD is finally going to watch Gurren Lagann.
Yay!
Yay! And anybody who's watched Gurren Lagann knows why I'm doing this, but I'm having JD space this out, so we're going to do episode 1 through 8, and he's going to tell me his feelings from there. And then we're going to do another chunk of episodes, and we're really going to get, because as everybody knows that's seen it, Gurren Lagann changes very much throughout the show. So I want to get this boy's reaction from the beginning, middle, and end.
Is there a recommendation for dub or sub?
Watch the sub. I don't recommend watching the dub because, and I might be wrong on this, but the guy who voices Kamina sounds like adult Gohan. And it really fucks with me. And it kind of, he has that great Saiyaman sound to his voice.
Hey, everybody.
Kind of. It's not nearly as bad as Saiyaman, but I watched the sub. And I'm already in sub for Naruto. So
yeah, if you watch dub, you wouldn't even made it past 5 episodes.
Yeah, probably. Believe
it.
Yeah, no, it's bad. They couldn't have found a better translation for that. Guess not.
But no, that's pretty much the announcement. But it's a big one. We're hoping to get some other things for you guys. If we ever can, really push out some content, we're hoping to give you some bonus episodes still with, the whole COVID thing going on to keep you guys busy and all that. But we're doing our best, and we're hoping you're sticking with us during these times.
Absolutely. We hope everybody's being safe and sane out there, and we really appreciate all you listening. If you're listening and you haven't already, join our Discord. The link is in the show notes. Follow us.
Drop it.
Yeah, drop in, say what's up, post some emojis, post some memes, talk about fucking anime with the boys. Follow us on Twitter, Anime Brothers PC. Check us out. We're pretty active on there. Instagram, the same thing, anime_brothers_podcast. Reach out to us. We want to know that the fans are out there. We take fan questions, and leave us a review. Apple Podcast, iTunes, I know you can leave reviews there. As soon as we get a review, we'll read it on the air. And hopefully it's a good review.
And we'll fix our issues.
Yeah, and if it's a bad review, then we'll just cry for 20 minutes.
I'm not going to cry. I don't cry.
I'm going to cry for 20 minutes. And then you're going to feel real bad about that bad review, mister.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to thank all you guys so much for listening. We are the Anime Brothers. I am YungxHarm. Who the hell are you, buddy?
I think I'm JD the Simple. That's just me.
I think we got to get out of here.
All right, see you later. Peace.
Call me when it's time to leave. There's been a quarrel.